The following program has been rated NC-17 by the RIAA Certification Board.
But why?
Because this movie has naughty language.
No persons under the age of 17 will be admitted without parent or legal guardian. And now, the feature presentation.
So here we go. You see the guys from Four Loko setting up the stage here at the local. Never have it be said that the singer from a band never helps with setup, because here's proof. But we'll be getting to some interviews with these guys here in just a few minutes. And then we'll try to see if we can sneak Chad from Bad JuJu here as well.
Doing wrong. Parents pissed off every time I write a song. Smoke, crack, worship Satan, what the fuck is that? It's something funny, made for you to laugh at.
You're destroying America with your rap.
You're so full of shit, I need to call hazmat. The only way I would ever apologize
I gotta go
if
on
I had my
record,
face buried in your
really
sister's thighs.
Never in 39 years have I ever seen anything like this.
Okay, I'm sorry
It
for what
shows
it's worth,
the
but the best
fanaticism
part of you was the
of this
afterbirth.
fan base.
If you can't take a fucking joke, then go jump in the river. Na 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 na, and I fucked your sister. If you can't take a fucking joke, then go jump in the river. La 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 la, and I fucked your sister.
If you want to continue to put this narrative out there that Cody finishing the story
What the fuck, dude?
is this big daunting task, and Cody has all these miles to climb and all these brass rings to pull from.
And of course, we gotta thank our official music sponsor, Psych Ward, for the continued use of Funny.
My balls on the chin, she's bobbing her head to this fucking beat. Damn, dog, man, your sister's a freak. Hey, baby, you like the Eagles? Wanna hear something?
What's up, Terry?
What's up?
So, you excited for the show here tonight?
Very pumped. Very pumped. I'm looking forward to this for months.
Yeah, you guys announced this thing a long time ago.
We did.
So, what does it mean to you, knowing that you and Bad JuJu have kind of been like fighting for that top spot all these years? What does it mean for you to be sharing a stage with those guys here tonight?
I don't really look at it like that. I just think two great bands just trying to share the wealth, share the enjoyment.
I 100% agree. I don't like it when people try putting labels on shit like that.
We're sharing this together tonight. We're all in it as one.
Hell yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night, man. I can't wait to see what you guys pull out. Yeah, no. Keep that shit in your pants, but pull out on stage. You know what I'm saying?
I know the place is going to be slammed.
Yeah. Looks like just about.
Joe is running the lights, and he's always.
Hi, Joe.
He's insane at it. Love working with him. He's always taking pictures, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I remember like when you guys made your debut at Harvest Saloon. This guy got video of me singing Godsmack.
And I lost that fucking card.
Oh.
That's why you guys never got the video. That's why I did the Tap House for free, because I owe you guys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I did that for free because I owed you guys. I was like, fuck, man, I lost that card.
Nope, I'm good.
Hey, how come you didn't ask me?
Steve just got here, so it looks like the rest of the band is going to be getting set up here real soon.
Yeah, we're pumped. To whom it doesn't make it,
You're
come
missing
next
out.
time. Come out.
Missing out. Yeah, but I can't wait to see you guys, both bands, rock this stage here tonight, man. I know you guys can do it. You guys have always rocked out.
Oh yeah, man. For sure.
So, all right. Well, it looks like the guys from Bad JuJu are here getting ready to get set up. So,
Right on, I'm gonna go help them.
hell yeah, man. All right. Thanks a lot, Terry. All right, here we go. Jam night is getting ready to get started here at Parma Tap House. So this is going to kind of conclude our music series, I guess you can call it. On the tonight's show, we're going to discuss the Bad JuJu 4 Loco concert that happened a couple weeks ago. Also, some stuff from Jam night here at Parma Tap House, and of course, you know, the highly anticipated reveal of the project that I was working on for months that kept me away from doing not just this show, but a few other things as well. But this is the return of Money's Crazy Mind, and we are here at Parma Tap House for Jam Night. So if you guys want to go ahead and get involved in Jam Night one of these weeks, just come on out. It's every Thursday night, starts at about 7 p.m.-ish. And they're here until 10:30. It's also bike night at Parma Tap House on Thursday nights, so you can always get involved with that as well. But the house band is getting ready to go on stage here. But welcome back to Money's Crazy Mind here on KZ Productions, Nameless Faces Productions on Rumble and YouTube. And we'll go ahead and send things over to them in just a few moments here. You can hear they're warming up and everything. But welcome back to the show. As soon as things die down here a little bit, I'll do another little breakdown, kind of discuss a few other things. But while we're waiting for that, let's jump in to the first half of our breakdown of the Four Loco Bad JuJu concert from a couple weeks ago at the Local in Strongsville. We'll be back here from Parma Tap House in just a few. All right, here we go, talking about the Bad JuJu 4 Loco concert from the Local in Strongsville on April 25th. It was an amazing night all around. Both of these bands doing everything they could to entertain a fire capacity crowd for the entire night. There was not a moment when there were not people enjoying this show. It was incredible from beginning to end. As you can see, Four Loco kicked off the night with an amazing, blistering set. And kind of what I did here in this little video montage, you know, if you got to say a lot of things in a short amount of time, you put it in a montage. A motherfucking montage, as they would say in Team America. But here we go. Bad JuJu with their first song of the night, American Idiot. And of course, they changed a couple of the words around and things like that. But speaking with both bands, before and during the show, the entire night, they were both super excited to be a part of this. And as you could tell, the very nonchalant drummer for Bad JuJu, Terry, even he was saying, like, this is a huge thing. We're super stoked to be a part of this. And, he was just having a great time. Everybody in both bands seemed to be having a great time the entire night. There was some scuttlebutt before the show that maybe the JuJu Army wouldn't like Four Loco and the Four Loco folks wouldn't like the JuJu Army. But both crowds were on fire the entire night. Nobody stopped enjoying these two bands until the music stopped. And you know, just getting back to this animosity thing that was, you know, supposedly going to happen between both bands. You know, as I said, I spoke to members of both bands. They were both super excited about being a part of this show. So wherever this manufactured animosity kind of thing was coming from, neither band was really feeling it. Neither band wanted any part of it. And you'll hear from Anthony Gonzalez a little bit later on here on the show. And he kind of breaks down where he thinks everything started. And I'll kind of get into a little bit of detail about the story that he's going to share a little bit later on here on the show. And basically what it was a couple of years ago during the Scene Music Awards. There were a couple of... there was some people that thought that the voting wasn't 100% fair. Because the year before that, Bad JuJu had pretty much walked away. Best cover band, best male vocalist. You know, they took home the gamut. The very next year, Four Loko hits the scene. And Bad JuJu doesn't win best cover band. Chad Moon still walked away with best male vocalist, but they did not walk away with best cover band. Four Loko did. And some people thought that there might have been some shenanigans or some craziness going on with the voting. But the people that run the Scene Awards came out and said there's no way for there to be any kind of shenanigans or BS or anything like that with the voting. We automatically have a filter that will stop somebody from attempting to vote twice. So every vote that both bands got were 100% genuine. Four Loko did in fact beat Bad JuJu by, from what I understand, not a very small margin. It was quite a landslide from what I heard in favor of Four Loko. And then the very next year, voting happens again. You know, because those are an annual award. And again, Four Loko, best cover band. Only this year, or this time around, Tony did win best male vocalist as well. So the argument that if your band is going to win best cover band and not win male vocalist is kind of a moot point then after that, because both Bad JuJu and Tony did take away both awards. And you know, I can kind of understand where some of that feeling is coming from. Now, you know, I mean, it is a little weird that best male vocalist would not be from the band that wins best cover band, but you know, that was Four Loko's first year on the scene. Not, you know, unless people knew Tony from his days with Bones of Giants or his days with Big Ugly, you wouldn't know who he is. You wouldn't know, you know, you wouldn't know. And I think that that's kind of where some of that came from that first year, is it's just like, oh, okay, we don't know who you are. And then the next year for the best male vocalist, they put parenthesis next to their names that said, I'm from Bad JuJu, I'm from Four Loko, I'm from this band, I'm from that band. And it made life, excuse me, easier with that. But I mean, as you can see here, like I got a lot of video of both bands here. I do want to take a moment here while I can, while we're kind of just, you know, breaking down the way that the night went, and thank both bands, both Bad JuJu and Four Loko, for giving me the access and everything that they did. Both bands had zero problem with me filming. Both bands were just like, hey, if you want to get on the stage and try to get some amazing shots that way, go right ahead. We did have, you
there obviously to these videos there is sound, but copyright is a thing, and they are cracking down hard on it on social media. So trying to avoid that, since both of these groups are cover bands. And and that's the other thing, right? I mean, we're not talking about two bands that are out here doing 100% original music. They're not out here battling, trying to be the best band in Ohio. They're cover bands. They're going out there and performing other people's music. So at that point, it's like, or I shouldn't say at that point, I should say to that point. I mean, is it really that important who wins? And this part of the video here, I'm kind of going back and forth, and I apologize, but this part of the video here is actually from Four Loco's second set. Tony got this great Bad JuJu t-shirt made, and on the back he wrote Chad's #1 fan on it and everything. Chad loved it. Chad was laughing at it, and those guys were taking pictures with each other and everything. But I'm just super impressed with the way that both of these crowds, or both of these bands, performed that night. But back to my point, and this is actually something that Tony and I had talked about a couple of times too, off air. Because we're not trying to start anything. Four Loko isn't trying to start anything. JuJu isn't trying to start anything. I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just a fat guy that does a podcast and a radio show. That's it. Tony is my best friend, but I don't have any skin in this game. It's not my band. Neither one of these bands are my band. Is Tony my friend? Yes. Am I going to try to help my friends out as much as I can? Yes. And I do want to say this, okay? Prior to this show happening, I did not have any discussions with any member of Bad JuJu. Everything that was being scheduled and built on for this show at the Loco was being done through Four Loko. Because some people were just like, oh, you have way more video of Four Loko than you do Bad JuJu. Well, yeah. Yes. Do I have unprecedented access because the band was nice enough to give it to me? Absolutely. But this whole idea of me coming there and interviewing and all of that, that was all Four Loko's idea. And I even told Tony, I'm like, unless I can get permission from the members of JuJu, I will not be interviewing them. I will not, because originally we were going to air the show live over KZ radio. But there were some logistic things that just didn't work out in either the locals or my's favor in order to make that happen. And no offense towards Kevin or anything like that. It's just the way that everything was falling into place the closer the show got. It just wasn't going to happen. It's not my fault. It's not Kevin's fault. It's not the locals' fault. It's not Four Loko's fault. It's not Bad JuJu's fault. It just, logistically, for what we were attempting to do at the time when we were attempting to do it, it was not going to be possible. So we are working something out where we will be there the next time these two groups clash like this. And I don't want to say clash like, it's a battle of the bands kind of thing, because it's not. But the next time that these two bands come together and do a show like this, we will be there, and we will be there live. That's already been guaranteed to me by Kevin and the local. And Kevin's really excited about it, actually. So I do want to thank the local for allowing me to have all of this access and everything too. Just the way that we were able to make all of this happen, just the way that everything that did happen happened, being able to take these great videos of the band all night long and everything, of the bands, I should say, all night long, and just the amazing coverage that I was able to get, and the bar not having a problem with me being pushed right up against the stage to get these amazing shots and everything. It was just a great night. The energy in that bar for both bands was absolutely phenomenal. Once Four Loko hit that stage and people figured them out, they're like, oh shit. Obviously the Four Loko audience was there, but we were trying to figure out how the Bad JuJu audience was going to take them and interact with them. And it was just this amazing feeling once the entire show came together and started going off the way it was going off. And that's a testament, right? That's a testament to both of these bands and their power and the way that they approach performing and things like that. Bringing in a professional light rig, bringing in some of the best sound equipment you can bring in, and being able to just make it possible for both audiences of both bands to be able to interact with each other and make stuff happen. I've been to a lot of Bad JuJu shows. I've been to a lot of Four Loko shows. I've been to a lot of shows, period. And I'm going to say this too. I used to work in this bar's kitchen. So even if I wasn't out front enjoying the show, I was in the kitchen enjoying the show from back there, because where the original stage was, right behind the wall, is the kitchen. This is a brand new stage. This is a brand new setup. So I don't know what it sounds like in the kitchen now, obviously, because I don't work there anymore. But, you would, like, Chad would always be sneaking back there to grab a cigarette and stuff like that. So, I had interactions with every band that came in there and played. And I've seen some massive, massive crowds come through that building for 1988, for Boaterhead, for just about any band you can think of. And the crowd that was there this night for Bad JuJu and Four Loko was just as epic and just as amazing as any crowd for any of those other bands. And you see this lady here got a little too cray-cray during one of my favorite songs that Four Loko Bad JuJu does, and that's My Hero by the Foo Fighters. I'm not even a Foo Fighters fan, but I just really like this song. And as Chad was setting the song up, he's just like, where are all my veterans at? Where are all my strippers at? And that woman just came running right up on the stage, came running right up to Chad, and as the song was going on, she's just up there dancing away, not even to the beat of the song or anything like that. She's just up here having a great time. And you can tell Chad's laughing his ass off, enjoying it too. And then this other lady got up on stage and started doing it, with him too. And you can see, you can see everybody just out there enjoying themselves, having a great time. I'm on the side of the stage so I can get that great shot of the band and also get this great shot of the crowd. I mean, look at that crowd just enjoying this. And that's only half the crowd. There's more people off to the other side. So here I am on the other side of the stage now, getting some Four Loko or Bad JuJu footage here. Respect to Steve Shirt there, the bass player for Bad JuJu, with the Metallica shout out there on that. And, I also got to give some credit to Terry, the drummer for Four Loko, because since this was a dual branded show, he didn't bring his own drum kit. So he had to use Bad JuJu's drum kit all night. And he was a little apprehensive about it at first, and I think that's more just because, he's a musician and he likes playing his own shit. And I completely understand all that. But, it worked out. It was great. Move out of my way, Kevin. I'm trying to get video here, bruh. So that was the owner of the local Kevin's big shoulder that you saw there. But I mean, I just like the fact that these guys were letting me do what I was doing and, just having a great time with two amazing bands throughout the night. And I did get to talk to Chad a little bit after the show had ended, because I wanted to kind of wait to get both bands' reactions after the show to kind of see what they felt about everything. And, you know, Chad was just like, wow. Like, that was the first word out of his mouth, was just, wow. Like, that was amazing. And that, you know, the fact that these two bands mesh together as well as they do, which was another thing that I was kind of wondering how it was going to work, because there is a lot of stuff that Bad JuJu does that Four Loko does, and there's a lot of stuff that Four Loko does that Bad JuJu does, and vice versa. And that's why the mission in 2025 for Four Loko was to kind of change up their song list a little bit and to add some things that other bands aren't doing. So, like, you don't have JuJu, Them, Grunge DNA, Alt 95, like all these groups that are kind of in that same genre doing the same stuff at every show. Because then some people are going to be like, we like the way Grunge does it better. We like the way Alt 95 does 3 a.m. better. We like the way that JuJu does this better. You know, so they're mixing it up, and they're keeping it exciting and real and new for the fans, so that they have a reason to try to come out to every show, right? So for the night, Four Loko went a lot heavier with some of the stuff that they did. I'm going to bring up the set list that Four Loko sent me here, just to kind of give you guys a taste of what I'm talking about. Where is the set list? Tony, don't tell me I deleted it. I don't know why I would. Nope, it's right here. Here we go. So for their first set, it was Last Resort, Breed, Tripping on a Hole, Hash Pipe, Wicked Garden, Sober, Bullet with Butterfly Wings, She Fucking Hates Me, Cumbersome, Santeria, Rebel Yell, Crazy Bitch, Cold Hard Bitch, Fuel, Bulls on Parade, and The Sickness. For their second set, it was Bad Girlfriend, Porn Star Dancing, Control, Figured You Out, Godsmack's Whatever, Song 2, Enter Sandman, Thunder Kiss, their version of Ring of Fire, Whiskey in a Jar, Remedy, One Step Closer, Stupefy, Dragula, Break Stuff, and Bodez. So those were the two sets that those guys did. I'm going to try to see if I can figure out what song they're doing here. Nah, I can't tell. At least not yet. Can't tell. Anyway. But I did also talk with Kevin, the owner of the Local, at the end of this show as well. And he said a lot of the same stuff. You know, like these two bands really complemented each other really well. Four Loko brought more of their heavy stuff. Bad JuJu does the stuff that they always do, the stuff that makes women swoon over Chad Moon. A little bit more of the melodic dancey stuff. But, you know, both audiences were just going after, you know, going with it and loving everything. And for a while, like, I was stuck, like, where I was at. I had, like, 2 feet behind me that I could back up. And I wanted to try to back up a little bit to try to get a little bit of a different angle and everything. But the crowd was so thick. Oh, Bodies. Oh, that's what song they're doing. But let the Bodies hit the floor, because I can tell by what Terry's saying right there. But that's my man Terry just killing it on the drums, man. But, yeah, so... both of these bands, like I said, were having just a lot of fun and just killing the night. And even at the end, Tony was asked to come on stage by Chad and everything. And he did a couple of tracks with the band, with the Bad JuJu band. Chad came out and did a couple of tracks with him too and everything. So it was just a fun night. Both bands really enjoyed it. And they're still coming down from that high. And, you know, Four Loko had a show the very next night. I'm sure JuJu did too. And I actually met up with Tony at his jam night stuff, which we'll talk about when we come back from break, which will be going to break right after this video ends. And at the end of this video is the interview with Tony Gonzalez. But it looks like these guys are just about wrapping it up here. So final thoughts on the show, A+ for both bands. The venue obviously is amazing. And so after the interview with Tony, we will go to break. But as promised, here's the interview with Tony Gonzalez.
Busiest man in music in Northeast Ohio, Tony Gonzalez, getting ready here at the local. Going to be rocking it out with Four Loko and Bad JuJu here tonight. So I kind of asked Terry this question too, but I wanted to ask it of you too. What do you guys think about this amazing opportunity to be working with another one of the top bands in the area that you guys have kind of been friendly-ish competing against and everything? You know, I mean, some people would sit there and say it's not so friendly, but those people's opinions don't matter.
No, I mean, it's an absolutely awesome opportunity. You know, we have a lot of respect for those guys. They are very talented, very good at what they do. And we also enjoy the same type of music. So, yeah, I mean, there's no beef between us and them. It's very friendly. You know, we had the awards thing like a year or two ago, and that was what it was. But we have nothing but good things to say about these guys. They're great people.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just picked up another gig. I remember distinctly one of the last times I had you on this show, you said, no, I'm done with the original music thing. It's just going to be Four Loko. I don't have time for an original music band. So who the fuck is Conspiracy 216 and why are you singing for him?
Well, so the thing about that is last year that statement was absolutely true. This year, Four Lokos cut back the number of shows. We're going for more quality over quantity, and we just wanted more time for other things. You know, different members of the bands have things they like to do with their lives. And so, yeah, I had some extra time, and an opportunity came to me that I was like, hey, you know, I get a chance to sing original music again. I get to write lyrics and stuff, and it's heavy, you know, metal. You know, I love that stuff. I love to do all kinds of music, but that's something that I haven't been able to do for a while. And I'm really like into this project. It's cool stuff.
So I remember when Conspiracy 216 had first started, you guys had kind of had them do a couple of like songs and stuff with like different members of the band would come and do different songs and stuff like that. So what changed to where all of a sudden Conspiracy 216 needed a singer, and why did they ask you specifically to do it?
Well, some of the changes that took place actually happened before I was involved with it, so I don't know the inner workings of why they changed what they did, but they were kind of focusing on being both a cover band and original. And then when Johnny Rocker came to me, it was more, we want to focus on the originals with just a few covers sprinkled in. I don't want to do another cover band. So
Right.
For me, that was, you know, right in my wheelhouse of like what I wanted to do. I don't want to be in another 4-hour-a-night show band. This will be like doing an hour show, heavy metal set with just maybe a few covers thrown in there. Like I said, the biggest goal for me is getting to write again, which I love to do.
Yeah. So this is only my second time here at the local since they redid the place. What do you guys think about some of the changes that Kevin and the team have made here?
Absolutely amazing. It's one of the top venues in Northeast Ohio. We love every opportunity that we get to play here, and we're grateful for it. So we know tonight this place is going to be wall-to-wall packed, and we get to play with another great band and share a stage, so it's going to be amazing. What more can you ask for?
Oh, dude, I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for. I mean, this is an awesome opportunity, not just for you guys, but for Bad JuJu. You know, I mean, I definitely think that tonight there's not going to be any doubt who the two top bands in Northeast Ohio are and everything like that. I mean, you know, I got much love for you, my brother. You know, I got love for Bad JuJu too. Those guys have been rocking this place.
We're bringing two great fan bases together tonight, so for both bands, it's exposure. You know?
Hell yeah.
People that may not have been at your show before, they get to see it for the first time. And
yeah.
No matter who's playing, it's going to be great. I mean, the place is going to be rocking.
Right. You know, and I love the fact that you said that, you know, about the audiences, because it's definitely going to be two different crowds. There's going to be, you know, the hardcore Four Loko, let's get loco crowd, and then there's going to be the Bad JuJu, you know, oh my God, Chad, take your shirt off crowd. And I think having the Four Loko crowd get to hear Bad Juju and the Bad Juju crowd getting to hear Four Loko, I think it's going to be like a really interesting mix.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, and I can't.
Music and the love for the local music scene.
Hell yeah, man! I can't wait to see how this crowd is going to react to both ends of the pendulum.
Oh yeah, it's going to be off the charts tonight. We've been anticipating this one for a while. We're going to have a great time, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir, for taking the time out to talk to me. You know I love you, my brother.
Please, my buddy here.
All right, man. All right, here we go. Money's Crazy Mind back here with you from Parma Tap House. We are getting ready to begin the second half of the night here at Parma Tap House. So I figured I'd take this time out to kind of just welcome everybody back into Money's Crazy Mind. That was our first look at the Bad JuJu Four Loko concert from April 25th at the local in Strongsville. We'll be taking another look at it here in a little bit. But I kind of just wanted to let you guys know what Jam Night is. So if you guys are a local musician, either in an original band, a cover band, anything like that, this is a coming together of musicians from around the area to allow everyone to just show their craft. We've got Tony Gonzalez from Four Loko and Conspiracy 216 on vocals. We've got Tom, who's kind of a freelance guitarist that's here. We've got RJ, who's the bass player for Roadhouse. And we've got Colton from a bunch of different bands as well. They all come together. They're the house band. If you guys want to sing with the band, or let's say you play an instrument, maybe you play guitar, maybe you drum, play bass, whatever. If you guys want to get on stage with the band and sing a song or, play an instrument, anything like that, they will allow you guys to do that. And actually, hopefully here in a few moments, yours truly will be getting on stage with the band to do a song with them. We're working out the logistics to see if the band knows the song that I want to do. And if they do, then I will be on the stage with the house band singing. If they don't, I'll be doing it karaoke style, but it is what it is. You can't, beggars can't be choosers on things like this. But having a great time here at Parma Tap House. DJ Dina is behind me playing the tunes, and she's playing the song from it's a Guns N' Roses song. And the only time I've ever heard it, other than when I've looked for it because I've wanted to hear it, is in Terminator 2. Some high quality H2O. But just an awesome vibe here. We've got a couple different motorcycle clubs that are here as well, being part of Bike Night. So just a great vibe here all around. I'm having fun doing shows like this. It's just, simple. I don't have to worry about green screens. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Basically just me finding a neat spot to sit, bringing the headset, and just plugging the headset into the phone and going from there. I have a boom mic to record some of the stuff going on stage and everything too, but the headset just makes life easier because I can drown out some of the outside noise and everything and just be good to go from there. I bought this stuff for occasions like this, and that's exactly why we have it, and that's exactly why we're going to continue to use it. Plus, it gives me a little bit more freedom here as well, so I can be a little bit more animated. Tony wanted to bother me in the middle of me recording, but here's what it is. So be prepared to see a lot more shows like this as the spring and summer roll on, because I think we're going to do a few more of these. Just minimal, minimal stuff. And plus, I like doing this stuff a little bit more than I do just sitting in the studio. But let's just talk about a few things here while we're waiting for the second half of Jam Night to begin here. We'll tell everybody about the project, and for that I will be in studio recording that segment. But taking this time away to work on that project and to think about the things that I wanted to do with this show and everything like that, that was kind of part of the reason why I did it. You know, I was thinking about the show. I was thinking about the way I wanted the show to go forward. And I knew I had that big show coming up with Four Loko and Bad JuJu. So I wanted to make sure that we were in a good position for that. And that all of the focus for that show was going to that. And that, you know, we weren't worrying about other things and trying to move things into other directions. It was just going to be, you know, that concert, that show, and then we'd worry about everything else after that. You know, we did the WrestleMania special, and now we're getting ready to get, you know, we did the Four Loko Bad JuJu show because I did promise Tony and them that I would be there for that and that we would do that. Now we can focus on doing other shows and things like that. So be prepared for a lot of shows coming up that are going to be a little bit different in style. Like each show is going to be a little bit different because I think that's going to keep the longevity of the show moving and things like that. So, but shows like this are a lot of fun for me, where I can just, you know, record segments during things and then chill out, jam with some guys. There's Tom. You know, chill out, hang out with the guys and things like that. Maybe shoot a little bit of video. I will say this, like, the only reason why we're breaking the Four Loko Bad JuJu breakdown up into two different segments is because I shot so much shit that night that I forgot to have fun. You know, so I'm still learning on this, you know, on that. Where I think we're gonna be doing stuff like that. Like we're gonna be teaming up with Conspiracy 216. Obviously, we're gonna be teaming up with Bad Four Loko again. Maybe do more stuff here with Jam Night and things like that. But the vibe of the show isn't. I don't want it to go full tilt boogie on music. But there's so much good stuff going on in the world of local music in Northeast Ohio that I think it's kind of being overlooked by a lot of things. And that's part of the reason why, you know, when these guys were so willing to have me invade Jam Night, have me invade Four Loko and Bad JuJu, have me do all these things. What's up, Nick? You know, that I was willing to do it because I have the means, I have the you know, I have the skill to do it. Why not do it? And we're going to continue upgrading equipment and stuff like that for when we're shooting live shows and things like that. And we're going to be working on bringing those live shows to way more people in different ways. So stay tuned for that as well. So I think we're going to be starting here. I see Tony and Dina discussing when they're going to get stuff moving for the second half of everything here. But, you know, just a fun Thursday night out, you know, and I don't have to work in the morning, so why not? You know, why not come out and do stuff like this and, you know, support the local things that are going on around here. And another thing that we're going to be doing, and we're going to be working on getting this together here real soon too, is I kind of want to, like, when we're in a place like this, I want to talk about the food. I want to talk about the atmosphere. I want to talk about all that. So stay tuned for a lot of stuff like that coming too, where I want to sit down with the, you know, the people that run these establishments and things like that and talk about, you know, how they came up with a lot of the stuff that they have for their businesses and things like that. Obviously, you can see behind me the views, kind of like a fireplace, and I thought that this would be a neat spot to sit here at the Tap House The Tap House kind of has a weird history. And this is like the fourth name that this bar has had since I've been old enough to enter establishments like this. When we first started coming here, me and my wife, obviously back then we weren't even boyfriend, girlfriend, or anything like that. But when we first started coming here, this place was called the Blue Moose. And back where like the pool tables and things are now, there used to be a stripper pole and cages. And I'll have to see if I can dig up the pictures of it, because I know that between me and my wife, we both have pictures of all of our friends and her, to be honest with you, in those cages, on those poles and things like that. But what they've done with this place is amazing. Like the stage that Jam Night is going on. Let me turn the camera a little bit. Like, I know that was like the worst angle ever of the stage, but I don't fucking care. But that stage wasn't here. A lot of what's behind me now wasn't here. I don't even really remember what this place looked like back when it was the Blue Moose, which is kind of funny. But it's also been that long ago. And then after that, the next name I remember it being was Rookies, and it was more like a pool hall. So there was a lot more pool tables than there are now. And I still don't think that there was a stage, but maybe. I don't know. I like, but the outdoor patio was here when I think it was both Blue Moose and Rookies. But now it's Parma Tap House, and they want to do a lot with local music around here. Like, they're giving a lot of bands that may not get chances at a lot of other venues some chances. And that is what's cool. And that is what I think local music should be. If there's an establishment that's willing to give a chance, then you go to that establishment and you keep going back to that establishment, because that establishment wants to be loyal to you. And I feel that that's always important. Always important. I'm waiting for my cue from these guys, but the song that's playing right now, I have not heard this song since I watched Power Rangers, the movie, so it's kind of weird hearing it. And I mean the one from 1995, not the remake, which the remake was good too, don't get me wrong, but oh boy. All right. Well, I think I've talked on enough here. The band is starting to get ready to hit the stage and everything. So we're going to turn it back over to Tito's Tap House band in part 2 of Jam Night. If yours truly does get to get on the stage, I'll try to see if I can get some video of it. But until then, guys, let's do the part 2 of the Four Loco Bad JuJu breakdown, and then we will talk all about the project when we come back right here on Money's Crazy Mind.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's been a while. Been a while since we opened the doors here in the asylum, especially here in Spook Central. As you can tell, I have not, it's not that we haven't been, doing stuff. It's just we've been doing stuff in other places, man. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the asylum. It's a pleasure to be back here with you. And I know that in that last clip from Jam Night, we did kind of say that we were going to do another look back at Four Loco and Bad JuJu. And as I was putting everything together and working on, putting the show together, I guess, I decided it wasn't needed. So we're just going to dive right into everything that has happened in the past few months, as to kind of like where the show has been, where the show is going to be going, and stuff like that. I think it's kind of important to get that out there and kind of discuss like what we have in the works and why things have kind of been the way that they've been show-wise over the past few months, right? I think you guys can respect that about me, right? So, let's just let's talk about it. You know, you see it up there, the project that stopped the show. Back at the end of February, I was working with a couple of local filmmakers. We were actually working on getting some stuff figured out about them potentially being on, you know, future episodes, stuff like that. And the conversation came up about original works. And, you know, if these guys had anybody, you know, submitting any original works to them, or if they had any original projects of their own and stuff like that they were going to be working on. And the collective answer was kind of a mix. It was yes and no. It was, I'm only focusing on this right now. And then, I had kind of mentioned, and this was just casual conversation. This is nothing that's going to be like that I have sitting in the can anywhere that's going to like spoil anything that's going to be talked about on a future episode. This was just a candid conversation between me and a couple independent filmmakers. And so it kind of like during that conversation, the conversation kind of shifted to me talking about some projects and some screenplays that I had been working on and that I had started writing about 10-15 years ago. And there was some intrigue there about that. And after we had this conversation, one of the excuse me, one of the filmmakers actually reached out to me and said, hey, let me take a look at some of your projects and let's see if there's anything that we can work with. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, one of them is kind of a fan fiction kind of thing for Ghostbusters, go figure. And the other one that is kind of in a state of like being ready, or was in the state of ready at the time of this conversation, was originally going to be another fan film, but then as time went on, it started becoming less fan film, more original idea. And that was by design, because like the more I was working with it and the more the ideas were rolling, the less the idea of it needing to be a fan film needed to be there. And basically, I was using it as like a stepping stone and a starting point for the characters that I was introducing in the Ghostbusters fan film. And it's like, as I was mentioning some of the things that were in the Ghostbusters script, people were just like, well, wait a minute, why don't you show the trauma, show what happened to this guy that is making him, act the way that he's acting in the Ghostbusters script. And I'm like, well, I never really wanted it to be there. I never thought that it was going to be, essentially needed, kind of thing. And I'm like, but if you guys are saying that it'll definitely add to the story and things like that, I have an idea for that. And that's kind of where this idea came from for this other screenplay that I had written. And I had started it way back in 2015. And in 2015, I thought it was done. And then I went and I, started reading it again and then looking over it. And decided to make some changes. And then I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again. And then obviously during the pandemic, everybody had nothing but time, unless you weren't a social worker. But in the time that I had, where normally I would be going to like the comic book store or whatever, I took that time to write. And so, I started revising the script again during COVID. And after COVID, I felt really good about it. And it had kind of just been sitting. It's been sitting ever since COVID. And, again, I thought it was done. And then, the words of Lars Ulrich kind of got into my head a little bit. And what the fuck does that mean? Done. When is a song done? When is a project done? And, even Steven Spielberg and George Lucas and people like that have gone back to projects that they've worked on, and sometimes much to the detriment of fans, and made changes, or like, if we had the ability to do this back when I made this movie, it would have been done this way, or this character is going to look like this now that we have this technology, and things like that. And a lot of people have done that over the years, Spielberg and Lucas, just to name a few. And so I started thinking, like, there's always that one thing, right? There's that one thing that you wish that you can change about a project. And by the time you submit it and hand it to somebody and it's no longer yours, you don't really have that ability to go back and do it unless something goes horribly wrong and they're like, we need a rewrite, or we need this, or we need that. So I never really... I always had the intention of making these films myself. Like, I wanted to be the director, I wanted to be the writer, and even in some cases I wanted to act in them. But with this opportunity that came about, I'm just like, well, maybe I can forego directing and acting, or maybe just forego acting and be like an AD on this, just to make sure that the vision that I had in my head as I was writing it is the vision that's going to come out on film. And so as I'm sitting there and I'm going over this idea again, all of a sudden, like, I'm reading through it and I'm like, oh God, like, I could do this so much better. And then I'm just like, well, I want the opening to say this, and then all of a sudden it's just okay. Now the beginning is fixed. Oh fuck! Now I need to fix this. And I mean, that's just kind of what just kept happening every time I would go through it to make sure it's ready to give to this filmmaker. And then so finally I called him and I'm just like, hey man, this thing is a lot more fan film heavy than I thought it was. Like, I thought that this was it sounded and looked different than I remember. So I want to go back and I want to continue to eliminate more of the fan film stuff and the copyright stuff and make it more of an original idea. Can you hold off? And he's just like, yeah, sure, absolutely. He's like, but I'm giving you a deadline. I need X amount of pages by this date. And I'm like, cool, no problem. So when I wasn't working, the only other thing I was doing was this. And it kind of came at a good time, because as I was putting shows together and reviewing shows and stuff that I had shot for episodes of the show that have never aired and probably will never air, unless I decide to do like a Lost episodes idea or something like that. Like, the show was starting to get kind of stale, and it didn't feel like something that I liked putting out. And I knew that I had some big stuff coming up. I knew that WrestleMania was coming up. I knew that we had the Four Loco Bad JuJu show coming up. And I wanted to focus more on making those shows right, or shows that I could be proud of. than just continuing to put out half-assed garbage. And, just be like, well, I mean, it says Money's Crazy Mind on it. The logo's right there. The theme song's there. To me, it kind of felt like these, the quote-unquote lost episodes that'll probably never see the light of day. I don't even think I saved the video files. So, like, that tells you how not into those episodes I was. And how I felt that they could be different. And that's it's a pride thing, and I wanted to be proud. I want to be proud of every episode of the show that I put out. And there was just something about those specific episodes that I wasn't proud of, and that I felt like something could be done better, if that makes sense. So I said, let me work on deadline. So we'll put Money's Crazy Mind off to the side for right now, and we'll work on deadline. We'll work on getting this done. And I made the deadline, and then I exceeded the deadline because I gave more than what was originally needed. And he's just like, okay, I like the direction that this is going. Let's get this finished. The project still is not finished, but it is in the works, because I met that initial deadline and everything like that. And since I'm doing a complete rewrite from page 1 down to wherever this thing's going to end up, and I'm also kind of shifting tune with it a little bit too. I'm writing it as if it's a novel, and I'm setting the stage for everything, and giving details about locations, people, what they look like, what they sound, things like that. And then he's going to go and send it to a script doctor, and the script doctor is going to turn it into a screenplay. And then, him and I together as directors, and I'm also going to be coming on as an executive producer, are going to work on getting a cast filmed and things like that, and potentially turn this into a movie that I originally wanted it to be. But I'm going to tell you guys about the project and everything like that here. But that's kind of what's been going on, and we'll get dive deeper into a lot of this other stuff here in just as we're getting into this as well.
Everybody follow me, I'll take you on this journey through the land of many trees. Smoking Mary Jane cause you really do please. Making sure we roll it tight each and every single night, cause we got the goods and you got the dirt. Run away before you get hurt. Northern lights in Durban, peeing purple haze is what we be. Dropping them ends on all the time, smoking all the kind that we can find. So if you got a sack G, go ahead and blaze with me, cause when I got it, you know what I'll do, return the favor right back to you.
Weed, that's what I need, I cannot believe that you wasted the seeds. I needed to breed, I needed to feed, without it I bleed and I can't get a wink of sleep. Weed, the miracle fruit, without it I can't even push out a poop. I might get a toot, or maybe a poop. Enough about doodle, I'm ready to shoot.
Smoking and toking and puffing it buzz, like dropping some mix and fucking a hood rat, dropping a load and dip with my nose to a fifth.
It's pop up pass that fast, let me get a swig. It's K, they flipping shrooms and as they own that ecstasy. Fucking with your mind, let me see. Hit you one more time, please. Pass that weed, let me get one more hit while I'm past.
THC and ecstasy, the drugs have got the best of me. My mind becomes slow from the creep of the hydra. Willie Nelson, Cheech and Chong, puffing up on Billy Bong. Was done before I started, I don't smoke myself retarded. To understand how Killer the Dog died, man, first you need to understand who Killer the Dog was.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nameless Faceless Productions would like to apologize, but it appears our transmission from Spook Central has been interrupted. We don't know who interrupted it or why it was interrupted, but we promise we will get you the conclusion of the show as soon as possible. Until then, we thank you for checking out Money's Crazy Mind here on Rumble and YouTube.